Day 1. Evening. It all started with VidCon, a nightmare conference for social media influencers and her screaming teen fans. I went with 2 former co-workers, all of us in our mid-20s and women. VidCon, for the 3rd time in a row, was my first goof, followed by the 24-hour Southwest Airlines saga pushing flights out, but we managed to send thousands of dollars of our camera equipment to LAX without us. One of our former colleagues, we call him prisoner number 1, was the first in a private residence we rented on Airbnb, expecting a quick exchange with the host and then silence and freedom. Like a Tinder, the landowner, who was 20 years older than him, immediately started howling when he arrived. He'd gotten divorced at some point and had really let himself go, he said. But tears were just the beginning. He simply wouldn't leave. And inmate number 1 was too sweet and innocent to demand he leave, so she let him drive her to the VidCon venue. I know, but if you're already in a stranger's house, might as well get in his car, too. You know you're desperate to escape if you choose a convention center full of screaming teens over your Airbnb. There, she met up with the rest of our team and somehow made it back to the house. By 3 a.m., inmate number 2 and I had arrived, and inmate number 1 shared her eerie tale of consoling our crying house dad. He was gone by then, mercifully, so we thought that was the worst of it, until we realized he'd removed the lock from the front door. Day 2. The next morning, as we got ready to head to the convention, guess who showed up? House dad. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. We confronted him about the missing lock. He claimed that this was a safe neighborhood, so we wouldn't be needing a lock. We disagreed. Eventually, we won the please replace the lock tug of war in hopes of keeping our belongings and ourselves safe. Then he cried again. He also proposed, several times, including in our correspondence prior to arriving, that we employ his out-of-work brother as our personal driver. We declined. We left the house, in a car not driven by his brother, for 8 hours to attend VidCon, a nightmare in itself. When we returned, we found ourselves in a fresh hell. There was house dad, sitting in the house, music and TV blaring, all the doors open, specifically the front door, which he was straddling, trying to fix the lock. He claimed to have been there all day trying to fix it. Inmate number 2 and I asked to take over, and we fixed it within the hour. Then we asked him to leave again. By this time, it was about 7 p.m., and we decided to take a dip in the nice pool outside. About 15 minutes later, just as we allowed ourselves to relax, the pool cleaners arrived. They didn't say anything to us, they just started cleaning. So we dipped and dove to avoid getting caught in the net and headed inside. We cleaned ourselves up and fought there to have dinner and, I guess party with teens at VidCon. Day 3. Here's where things get a bit blurry. It's also hard to keep straight how many times we left and returned to the house, only to find house dad there, music and TV blaring. Part of me thinks he never left, but instead hid in the garage only to return to the house once he saw us leave. Let me tell you, I've never checked a bathroom so thoroughly for toilet cams in my life. Anyway, one time we came back to find our bedroom doors open and bags messier than we left them. In inmate number 2's room, her red JBL speakers were perched nicely atop her bag, despite being buried in her clothes when we left. This prompted a routine gear check, as video producers neurotically do, and everything was accounted for. So we did the logical thing and chalked it up to ghosts. Another time, we came back to find full water bottles empty. Again, ghosts, right? We spent as much time as possible outside of the house, sharing odd tales about the Airbnb with our colleagues. The nightmare, however, was not yet over. Day 4, morning. Finally, we were done with VidCon, done with Anaheim, done with that damn Airbnb and crying house dad. He told us to just leave the keys to his newly fixed door, "You're welcome, house dad," and go. Checkout was at noon, so we woke up early, put all of our gear and luggage in the closed garage, and went out to get some breakfast and head to inmate number 2's favorite skate and surf shop. Her sick purple board was the only good thing to come out of this trip. When we returned around 11 a.m., the garage was wide open, exposing all of our belongings to the world. Round 6 older men were parading through the house, garage, backyard, everywhere. They claimed to be landscapers with keys to the garage and the house. We got our stuff together as quickly as possible after another full gear check and left, just happy to be out of there. The aftermath. Following another excruciatingly fucked up 24-hour return flight to D.C. with Southwest, we were home. After much discussion, we decided to complain to Airbnb. We almost didn't because we felt bad for House Dad. But it's a good thing we reached out. After Airbnb confronted him, he went on a full-blown rant about how we'd stolen up to $15,000 in stuff from his house and had the nerve to include a picture of inmate number 2's JBL speakers. Yes, he had indeed rifled through our things, taken a picture of inmate number 2's personal speakers on top of her open suitcase, and sent that picture to Airbnb as proof that we stole his shit.